All right, week 33 outlook number 2. I think this one should be relatively quick. I don't think there's really much of an update. So starting out with the pound futures, we're just looking for continuation of the price action. What we notice here is that we do have a bullish price action that went higher. We invalidated this inefficient pricing, but that's nothing new. It was already invalidated. And then we had some sort of response to move lower, which is totally fine. This is just all at the mercy of the current raw price action. So we should still be looking for continuation of buys towards this liquidity point target. This news or the catalyst for this was the CPI data that came out. But in the grand scheme of things, as you can see, it's not really much of a mover compared to this move, or any of the large purple candles. So if we're just looking at the clear momentum, we still see that the momentum is pretty strong, but it is starting to slow down just a little bit as we inch towards this liquidity point here. But nonetheless, we're still looking for continuation of bullish price action. The one thing that is to note, if we are tracking this, from the price action perspective, is the fact that we do have a liquidity draw at this low here, and it was ever so slightly, like literally probably closed right at the low. So it is up to interpretation if you want to consider this a break of structure or liquidity draw. I would still consider liquidity draw, and the reason is based off the definition. I need to see the body close below the low of this candle, not just at the low of this candle. So without that, that being said, it could just be continuation of price action. The other thing to note is if this is going to come back, we do have a inefficient pricing object, which is the price gap that price could, return to, because previously we did have mitigation of this inefficiency here, this raw inefficient pricing here, which led to the creation of that price gap. So let me see here, 275. Yeah, all right, let's go 280. All right, yeah, so as you can see, in that tap 50% perfectly. So it is possible that if we are getting some resistance here, we could pull back to some sort of support, or really what we're doing is we're coming back to balance the inefficient pricing that led to this move. And as you can see, this is uninterrupted price action. So price could very well pull back to mitigate 50% to 100% of this price gap to continue higher, or price could just continue higher from here. And then of course the antithesis is we get conversion of bullish price action into bearish price action, but we need to see more price action to see that. All right, so that's what's happening for the pound futures. Now for the NASDAQ, we identified that we had a liquidity draw here. We pointed out our invalidation would be of this bearish price action currently inside of the range would be this high here. So this price gap is still holding. We do have another liquidity draw of this high here. We do have mitigation of the price gap, and we do have, just basically we're just oscillating around. So once again, all that being said, there's not really much to look at here. We're just at the mercy of the raw price action to see what it's going to do. If we're going to look a little bit deeper into this, we do have to take note that it is possible that we could end up moving a little bit higher to clear out some other liquidity point. It seems that price is, inching higher, but like I said, we have to wait for more price action. There's not really an entry per se or an opportunity for sells that I see unless I'm going down to lower time frames. But even then, that's pretty risky because we are starting to draw on these highs, even though we mitigated this price gap. All right. Then the Dow Jones, we're seeing similar price action, but a couple things I want to note here is we are in a bullish run, so that's the current phase of the market. But we do have this inefficient pricing that was mitigated here. So that is very, interesting to see. So because we have that, it is highly possible that price could be looking to convert to go lower. But what we have to take note of is that we do have mitigation following this inefficient pricing mitigation of this price gap that's created here. And once again, similar to the NASDAQ, if we were to invalidate the selling bias that is in the really immediate right now, we would have to mitigate or purge this high here to invalidate the price gap that exists ideally or nominally from here to, oh my goodness, I do this every time. from here to here. So we've already, completely mitigated 100% of the price gap. There could be something up inside of this area if price were to return on the lower time frames, but that's not the point of this. And invalidation of the sells for this, if we are looking, to sell, because this pretty much is a price leg. If we're looking at it from this low here to this high here, it's not a overall market range, but it is a price leg, which technically is a range in itself. So we are looking for actually completion or validation of the range in itself, which I think we already have, or I'm sorry, a validation of the price leg itself for completion of it. And I think we already have that because we have, basically we have this low that led to this high, this low, this high here that led to this low here that led to this high, unwillingness, and then break of structure. So because we have that break of structure there, we now have a price leg that exists from this low, which is our structural point, okay, we have our structural point, then we have the liquidity point, which is the high. We have the breaker structure that solidifies the price leg. So now we are effectively in the premium side of this bullish price leg. So any pullback any pullback into the premium of this price leg would be an opportunity to sell, and any run into the discount would be an opportunity to buy. So we're actually at a crossroads here because this would be counter trend trading if you're looking for sells on against the macro bias, but if you're playing within the price leg itself, the sells are definitely valid. So, pick your poison and go from there. All right, I hope you learned something. That is it for week 33 outlook number 2. Peace.